Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Marshall here, and once more, I am bringing you a 1 versus 1. I do this a lot, don't I? Well, you haven't been complaining yet, so I'm just going to continue. Well, I'm going to apologise in advance for the last couple of uploads I've had. I was experimenting with a different recording software, and it just wasn't getting the mic volume up high enough, no matter what I was doing, so I'm just going back to OBS for it. You'll just have to deal with that, I'm afraid. But here in Blue English, we've got Simtom. See there, an interesting mix of rushing gold, straight off the bat, limited wood, a little bit of food. Interesting choice to go a much heavier gold in the first instance, and bringing people back to it thereafter. So typically you tend to see people go just full on straight onto food, so I'm curious as to what's going on here, whether it's just a different order and he'll get up the gold first and then come back to the food afterwards. But it's the most curious of setups. Meanwhile, on the other side of the house, we've got Pirate Rob, who is a Mongol player. 7 foodificators, 2 golderinos, and a little bit of Khan scouting going on. Not seeming to gather too many sheep. There you go. Got a few to gather there. I'm just going to leave you on the Vil counts for Simtom, because I think that rush for gold is interesting, and I haven't seen it played out too much. But it's working for him. He's got 200 gold already. We've just seen the transition from wood to food, and he's just spent a bunch of gold. What on? Is it on an early... an early wheelbarrow. I've not seen that before. So just popping up a windmill, hence the extra wood focus, and going for an early wheelbarrow. And now we'll just come back to the food and get up to 200 gold in the not too distant, and we'll have a lot of resources coming in when he gets up to feudal age. Or rather, by the time he gets there. Most interesting play there from the English. And also, it should be noted that because the English tend to go Council Hall as their second age landmark, which gives you the ability to much quicker produce longbowmen much quicker. The extra resources from the wheelbarrow is going to mean that he's going to be able to get out a lot more longbowmen very, very quickly. Now notice how what he's done here is, again, move all of his villagers off gold back to food just to get up to 400 food to get straight into that feudal age. Not hanging around in the Dark Age, just getting there as fast as possible. And then I would imagine that either most or all of these will then go to the Council Hall to rush it up. But he will need some back on wood afterwards, because archers do take wood. There you go. 5 onto the Council Hall. That will go up very, very quickly indeed. And a few extra ones over there. Now, let's have a look at what Simtom can actually see. Has he scouted the Ovu site? I don't think he has, you know. Because, funnily enough, I don't think one exists. Which is not ideal for the Mongols to not have built an Ovu yet. It's irregular. And I'm trying to work out why they might forego it, honestly. There's not a huge reason to. He's got plenty of wood. Perhaps he just wants a big boom into production buildings. And rather than emphasize production on stone, we'll just go straight up to that. But going deer stones means that every unit in the vicinity of yam buildings, like deer stones or outposts, cavalry or otherwise, will get a speed boost. That'll help him with things like with villager movement speed, trade units, infantry. But Simtom now up, transitioning loads onto wood, keeping loads on food, possibly sending a couple extra ones back to gold, but not necessarily going straight into the double broadaxe, really needing a bit more gold. First, barracks coming out to potentially build spearmen. to anticipate a cavalry charge by the Mongols. Knowing that you're against the Mongols, you're either going to come up against some early horsemen or some early Magadite. Longbowmen will deal with a Magadite. Spearmen against the horsemen. And... oh. Second TC. Straight away. Blimey. Ah. Hence no Ovu. Using all the wood on a town centre. Because Mongol town centres don't require stone, ladies and gents. That'll be why. So rather than spend the wood building an Ovu, just get the boom going in a double TC feudal for Mongols. And then you could, of course, always pack one of these up and move it somewhere. Completely up to you. There are a couple of trading posts on the map, of course, so you could move one off into a really sneaky corner of the map that no one expects. But you got to do it before it gets scouted, and it's potential that the Khan here will lure the horsemen straight to the second TC. This is what Rob doesn't want to do. In fact, it almost looks like Sim Tom has already seen it. I don't know how, because he's... Again, I'm not going to rely very much on this spectator thing, because it's not very reliable. He might have seen that, he might not have done. It's very difficult to tell, honestly. But if he's already seen it, then he's already seen it. If he hasn't, then it's a great move. And could be super duper sneaky. But yeah, look at all those vills moving so fast. They're not even bothering with drop-off points. Going for pastures as well. Will produce sheep periodically, so the Mongols don't even need to go out and do too much hunting. Of course, hunting is more efficient in terms of food gathering than sheep or berries or farms. So if you can, try and get the hunt there. You can always build a gur and move it over there. Of course, you can always pack up the deer stones as well, move it over there as well. Just to keep all vills as fast as poss. But 'tis up to you. Let's have a look at Sim Tom's military, though. Still only 3 military units. I'm going to work out where they are. Up is not particularly helpful in that regard. There's a horseman over there. And a couple of spearmen down here for some reason. Possibly just scouting. Seeing if they can find anything of note. Archery range coming up for Pirate Rob now, though. Let's have a look at the income per minute. And you see, the deer stones are allowing the production rates to be pretty comparable, although we've got a lot more wood coming in per minute for Pirate at the moment. Now moving one of these TCs away. Where to? Next to the stone. To sit it on an Ovu. Not the best placement of that TC next to the Ovu, if that is exactly what he's doing. Because that's taking up more squares than necessary. Oh. 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 Oh, wow. This is a... What is this? This is a keep rush? An age 3 landmark keep rush from Sim Tom? How many vills has he got on this? 10. Not what you expect. He has to kill off those vills. I suspect that Sim might actually have the villager health bonus. 75? Yeah, he's already researched the villager health bonus, so... Yeah, but he's lost his villagers, though. Thing is, the Mongol player now has to build some units to deal with this. He's got a few archers. Had to rush them out. Rather than building Magadai, just get them out. Archers isn't the wisest choice, considering you're against English with the longbows. More villagers coming in now. Looks like the keep will go down. That could have been nasty. Sim Tom now just... What is... What is this game? This isn't Age of Revolution Villager Wars, ladies and gents, although it seems to be. But the archers here are killing off plenty of the English villagers. The English townsfolk. Going beyond their hedgerows, how very un-British. Get back in your corners. Get back to your farms. And do not go that way again. How peculiar. What a strange turn of events. We don't have a huge number of military for Sim, and we certainly don't have that many vills now, down to 16 compared to Pirate with 42. Plus a second TC for the boom. Again, I don't really know why it's sat next to the Ovu. Possibly for a couple of vills at once. Simtom now starting to gather a bit of stone, will be wanting to get up either a keep or a second TC himself. Let's have a look at where he is. Almost at 300, so we can possibly expect that second TC soon. Now getting a blacksmith for the Mongols. Now that they have the lead in military count, they might feel emboldened to just run in. But equally, because he's just been attacked by an English player trying to build a keep on his front porch with all of his villagers, he might think, God, if he's willing to do that, what else is he willing to do? And so, might well not push out. The mind games are real in this one, folks. The second archery range, I would be very surprised if we don't start seeing Magadai coming out. But then again, why do you need Magadai when you've got loads of archers? And the moment he realizes that he has an army advantage over Simtom, I mean, there's not necessarily a reason to worry about Magadai. In we come. No longbow from the Council Hall. It's a strange choice to go for a Council Hall and then not bother building any longbows as an English player. Most curious, this game so far. The problem that the Mongol players have right now is that the English are going to be quite defensive because they've got 2 TCs, they've got an outpost near their Vill line, and you haven't got the cavalry mobility of the Mongols to be able to run in and out again. So the fact that all the villagers are under the arrow protection of all of these buildings is actually pretty challenging for them to deal with, and they don't have units that are good against buildings. They don't have the ability to build battering rams yet. It's possible that they're researching that. I think we've already got siege engineering researched with the Mongols. There we go. Yep, exactly. He just researched siege engineering. Going to be using the archers to build the battering rams. Once you've researched siege engineering, infantry and ranged infantry can build battering rams and siege towers. He gets loads of those. Those will be very useful against these outposts and TCs. The thing is, he hasn't got any cavalry. And the English player Simtom is responding, saying, "Yo, you don't have any cavalry to protect your archers? I'm going to build a bunch of horsemen." Here comes a battering ram. It's not going to kill off that TC. There's way too many villagers. And the battering ram will go down as a result. You need more protection against that battering ram, and really, you need a lot more ability to kill vills. Only just got through to the projectiles there. But we're still only building archers. It's very curious, and it's not something I'm anticipating. The Khan going down there is not great news for Pirate Rob either, because that means that he won't be able to get the ability to increase the attack speed of these guys. He won't be able to increase their movement speed to get out quickly if necessary. Honestly, if I was the Mongol player right now, I'd be looking to do a transition. You've got the Yam technology, so start doing a bit of outpost creeping towards the enemy. Get some cavalry up, Magadai preferably, against the horsemen. Because you'll be able to outrun them and fire on the move. If you've got that, Yam network bonus, which again, you need the outpost creep for. Or just move the deer stones forward. But then again, preferably keep the deer stones next to the vills, who are gathering stupid resources per minute in comparison. But that's mostly because of the vill count. 63 vills to 30. Simtom has just not recovered from that very, very brazen, almost foolhardy keep rush for age 3, and is now just on the back foot. Has to play very defensively, possibly set up some trade to the north trading post. Defend it with a few outposts. You get a little bit of extra gold coming in. But what he needs to focus on is upping that vill count. It's the primary thing that he needs to do really at the moment. Just going full on food and wood to try and get those horsemen, and potentially even a switch to longbow out thereafter. Are we going to start seeing a Castle Age move from Pirate Rob? Looks like he's spending all of his food as it comes in, so it doesn't look like the Mongol player is looking to go up into a fast Castle Age at this particular point. Well, I say fast, it's not exactly fast at this point, but Castle Age at this juncture. Ah! Oi. It's gonna change my audio a little bit there, just in case it was getting a bit loud. Barracks, though, coming in for the spearmen. That's going to be able to defend the archers against the cavalry. Spearmen still aren't going to do huge quantities of damage to town centres. But in a strange reversal of fate, the Mongol player is the one defending against a non-Mongol cavalry raid. It's quite peculiar. Really is, although that cavalry got a little bit too close to that TC. Khan there also giving a boost to those individuals. Doesn't look like the abilities were clicked though, so that the shimmering is just the deer stones rather than anything else. But with the current resources now for Simtom, we're starting to get the military produced quite well. Getting our vill count back up for Sim. Needs to be careful of not getting housed, though. Put up a couple next to the wood lines there. And there it is. Possible beginnings of an outpost creep here, although the cavalry did just come in from this direction, so all this outpost could be is literally just a defensive outpost. But notice how the Mongol player is not wanting to do too much moving. He's just using the deer stones and just staying situated with a huge quantity of villagers. 76, 28 on wood, and lots on food here from seven pastures. And something I did note down there is the Gur next to the Ovu getting the bonus wheelbarrow, the improved wheelbarrow, to give even more movement speed and even more carrying capacity for the villagers. So the Mongols are just going to race ahead in villager proficiency. Question is Simtom going to be able to deal with it? We've got a couple of battering rams coming up from this aggressive force. We've got a lot of outposts coming up to defend this line of attack. But the other side, completely open. Completely open. And I think Sim needs to be aware of this. that it's not just one route into the base. But likewise, so too does Pirate Rob need to be aware that there's more than one way into the base. And it looks like he's just going to go head on into it. Down go the outposts. Of course, you've got to be careful of the network of castles. Nearby units far faster. While it's active, spearmen chasing away the horsemen. The archers coming in to defend against the battering rams. Longbowmen starting though, and they will deal handsomely with the archers and spearmen if there are enough of them. Or are they villagers? No, they're villagers. Well, it's a mix. It's kind of hard to tell really, longbowmen or villagers. Looks like longbowmen have more white on them, on their clothes. A bigger white tunic. Oh wow, this will be big if this TC goes down. Ungarrisoning all the villagers to try and get rid of these two battering rams. One will go down, and I think that's gonna keep this this town centre alive. Just. And a few vills to repair it too. There's a little bit of a fight going around on the sacred site. More spearmen and more archers coming in. Looks like we still have the yam bonus here. On these guys, they're still shimmering. Much longer though, they're outside of the range of the yam. More outposts for more yam, please. I can even just build an outpost next to those ovu. These will be gorgeous, but loads of spearmen. No transition to men-at-arms. Just spearmen and archers. Spearmen and archers. And also, again, no bothering to go to Castle Age here, but running out of pastures. What he could do, of course, is move all of these pastures to surround the ovu, and they will produce sheep even faster. Because he's got so many villagers on sheep there that loads of them are now going idle. Because there's not enough room around the sheep to be able to deal with anything. What we need ideally is about 4 battering rams. Khan is up and at 'em. Horsemen see the second TC and the ovu that is about to exhaust itself. Not much stone left there. Look at this horseman though. Scaring off all the vills from that wood line who are running back to that TC, garrisoning as many as possible. Going up for a step readout, which is basically like a bonus gur, if you will. Any gold that goes into that resource docking place, if you will, resource depositing place, gets a bonus. I think it's like, what, 25% bonus or something like that? Or is it even more than that? I think I underestimated it last time. Is it 50? 50%. So absolutely phenomenal bonus to gold if you're gathering it. But right now, Sim needs to be worried about his base. Got loads of longbowmen who can, of course, deploy healing auras around themselves, dealing a lot of damage to those spearmen, going down very, very quickly. I don't think he has enough to be able to really deal with the battering rams, so will lose a TC here. Doesn't really have enough longbowmen to deal with this. That TC will go down, potentially an outpost as well. You need to worry about though are the unit production buildings. That's the big no-no. And if landmarks go down, then you're really starting to get into a dangerous situation because you have to then start repairing them. Of course, if you kill all of the enemy landmarks, then the enemy loses. That is one of the victory conditions. You don't have to kill everything. Just kill all the landmarks. The first town centre counts as a landmark, and then any age-up buildings after that. Subsequent town centres do not count as landmarks. Other victory conditions, just in case this is your first age cast that you're listening to. And grab and hold all the sacred sites, almost like a King of the Hill scenario with priests, and then hold them for 10 minutes. Hold on a second, let's go back a second. If this is your first Age of Empires cast, then subscribe to my channel and go and watch all my other ones. What are you waiting for? Please do it. Do it anyway. It helps me out. Aha, the White Tower finally coming up. I like that White Tower in the base rather than on someone else's doorstep. And I tell you what I also like? People who like my videos. Please do. And now you're thinking of a way that I'm trying to think of putting in share and comment into the cast. Well, you'd be wrong. Because I've already done it. That was meta, wasn't it? Oh, absolutely. Here we go. Simtom has a keep to defend this whole approach now. He's walled off the other approach, but only with palisade walls. Battering rams can go through those pretty quickly. And notice here, the Mongols, Pirate Rob, building an outpost. That is to extend the Yam bonus aura. You can see the little circle there. Every unit within that will get movement speed. It says they're cavalry and traders only, but he's got the Deerstones monument, which means that applies to everyone because the Yam network technology applies to all units. Siege Workshop's going up now, so I would anticipate mangonels coming out of that to deal with heavy infantry presence. Possibly a Treb now that we're in Castle Age. We haven't replaced the Ovu somewhere else, which you kind of really want to be doing as the Mongols. Plenty of stone. Hasn't even used any unit production buildings to capitalize on that Ovu. Wants loads and loads of gold though, possibly going for an Imperial Age. Or just because of how expensive mangonels are. And Trebs. They cost a lot. Wow. A lot of... Wait, no, I'm looking at the wrong place. There you go, 400 wood, 150 gold per Treb. 200 gold, 400 wood per mangonel. And Pirate Tom has 91 vils. Look at that, 35 on gold, and so much gold going into this step readout, it's just getting multiplied. Let's have a look at the income per minute on that. 1,500 gold per minute is absolutely ridiculous. In fact, we're already up to age 4 for the Mongols. How did I not notice that? Uh-oh. Watch out for some knights. Sneaky, sneaky knights. Careful of losing a few vils here. Problem is, 3 knights or 3 Trebs. Which one's going to do more damage and lead to a swifter win, I wonder? Well, it depends. If Pirate Rob completely neglects the fact that these knights are tearing through his villagers. I mean, he's under the town centre, which isn't ideal, but... Here we go. Knights coming in, potentially raiding the Trebs. Get them down. Those Trebs are expensive. 3 knights for a Treb is a good trade, but we're fighting underneath 2 outposts there. Not what you want to be doing, Simtom. You want to be getting up some spring golds of your own to deal with the siege units here. But these Trebs will wreck this White Tower landmark. They will wreck the outposts. And getting some knights up, actually, is going to be really good for Sim here. He's got lots of food and gold to be able to do it. And knights will wreck face if he can transition and maintain this transition. Honestly. Killing off these 3 Trebs will be big if he can do that. Archers should not be focusing them down, though. They should be focusing down the hand cannoneers. Longbowmen are not an anti-siege unit. In fact, the hand cannons are light infantry, light-ranged infantry, which longbowmen, I believe, have a bonus against. Well, this is not brilliantly microed siege units here. Possibly could have had the whole white keep down. And all of a sudden, the army of Pirate Rob is looking very, very small indeed. He was up at 50 before, now down to 24. The army counts have been leveled. Sim Tom has done some good work with his longbowman transition and his knights. Rob also has 67 idle vills. So he's not getting resources in at the moment. He has 0 wood coming in. Literally only able to build with food and gold at this point in terms of current resources. He's got to get those units doing something. Longbowman Paling stopped that night cavalry charge from the Mongols, or shall I say the Lancers. And all of a sudden, it's looking pretty good for Sim Tom. His vills over here have not been raided at all. He's got a lot of upgrades on his lumber camps completed. But he's not yet an Imperial Age. Gonna lose some trebs here. Mangonel's coming in. Yep. Uh-oh. And now we've got Vills chasing Longbowmen away. What is this game? The Mongols here building loads of forward archery ranges, but what are you actually going to build with them? Because your archers require wood, and you don't really have much in the way of wooderjacks. Oh, he's finally put some on there. There you go. And before. But strange decision to build that in range of a treb. Surely that's the last thing you want to be doing. What is this? Villagers gathering on the front lines. What is going on here? This is Villager War Incarnate. Popping up another defensive landmark there for Sim at the Berkshire Palace. So double keep now on this approach. Up to 3 TCs for the English. Looks like a comeback is happening, really. The Mongols have boxed the English in, but by all accounts, the English are probably in a better position here. Because the Mongols aren't really using the fact that they have the rest of the map. They're not getting any trade. They're not moving their production buildings around Ovus. They haven't rebuilt an Ovu. It's a very peculiar game, this one. And the English are just happy and content. Sat in their little corner. With outposts being built to keep vision of everywhere. Let's have a look at what they actually have vision of in terms of fog of war here. They actually have quite a lot. No monasteries have yet been built, I don't think, but we could possibly, well, we've got one, there we go. Possibly, if it was me, I'd even send out a couple of priests to go and get on those sacred sites. Looks like only one has been found. Oh, no. See, this is what I mean by unreliable observers. Like, why can I not see that? It's like... Yeah, so you know that thing I said earlier in the game about not being able to trust whether or not he'd scouted that second TC? That is why right there. Got some spring golds from the English, which is going to be good against the trebuchets and the mangonels. Spring golds are good against those siege units. A sort of anti-siege unit, if you will. See, the Mongols have just got loads of units coming forward, but they're not actually making any headway into anything. And now the longbowmen are here. We've got lancers ready to charge into the longbowmen. The longbowmen can always turn around and use palings to stun those lancers as they push in. Treb gets left alone, will go down here potentially. Commit to it. Down goes the Treb. Lancers retreat. Don't want to go too close to the Springgolds because Springgolds have bonus damage against armoured units. And Lancers are armoured. There we go. Oh, I hear relics being captured. Let's go and capture the sacred sites. Let's do it. There's so many opportunities for, well, both players really to expand across the map. And actually, SimTom's doing the best of it. Just gathering resources, expanding this way and that. Doing really well, even getting up some stone walls to just create choke points. And again, it's, you know, you've got to finish those stone walls all the way across the map. Though 140 vils and 43 military against Pirate, who's 70 vils and 70 military. So technically speaking, Pirate Rob is greater military, but I think I noticed that we're still only on archers. We're not on veteran archers or anything like that. And we're still only on Magadai rather than veteran Magadai. And we're on Imperial Age. We haven't had any of these really important unit upgrades, which is going to give them the stopping power when actually going into fight. You've got to get those unit upgrades. Blacksmith upgrades on themselves are not going to cut it. In fact, we're only just getting those blacksmith upgrades now. And here we go. Sacred site number 1. I mean, the Mongols have basically the middle sacred site and potentially even the one on the far end, but they're not going to bother going for capturing it. And they should. Haven't even got a monastery. It all comes down to this fight in the middle. And I think this could be the last one. Got Berkshire Palace there. With the cannons. Cannon attachment. Absolutely wrecking face against that army. And again, like, they could just swing south. But the amount of scouting that has been done by Pirate Rob is not great. I will kill this wood by shooting wood at it. Yes. That's not what you want to use against buildings, mate. You realise, oh, I don't even need to bother doing that, but more keeps are going up very quickly with lots of vills here. Khan is down, so no additional bonuses there. And we're out of the Yam network bonus here as well. All like, not even an attack move. That was just a move while they just got shot from left, right, and centre. So even the fact that you've got hand cannoneers here, we haven't yet got a critical mass. They're fighting in range of keeps and town centres. This is possibly the worst manoeuvre I have seen in Age of Empires. And that's the army gone. Pirate Rob. GG's out of there. Could not figure out a way of getting in. I say, Trebs, Springolds, and upgrade your units! But, ladies and gents, that's all from me. I have been Marshall. Thank you very much for doing what I told you in the middle of the game, going and subscribing and commenting and liking and all of that jazz. Make sure you share with your friends, though. I'm really trying to help my my channel grow, and I've also got a Discord and Twitch, which I'll link in the YouTube description. But until next time, folks, thanks very much for watching. I've been Marshall. Have a good one.